On May the 12th, 2016, I had a dream that I was waitressing at a breakfast place that I do waitress at. It's pretty small, very cramped, not a lot of seats. And I saw a person I knew. They came in and they were sitting all alone at a table and they wanted some decaf and it wasn't ready. And I said, "Oh, it's going to be a couple of minutes to brew and it takes a little longer than the regular, so it'll just be a few minutes and I'll bring it right out." Well, this person got um, extremely angry and was very impatient and nasty and started yelling at me. And I had assured him, "No, I started it. It just takes a little longer than usual. I promise I'll bring it right out as soon as it's ready." And he was just kept trying to argue and start an argument with me. And insisted that I hadn't even started it, and that I forgot about him. And so finally I said, "No, just stop. It'll be out in a moment." And sure enough, like within less than a minute, it was ready and I had it. And as soon as he got it, he was fine after that. So not long after that, while I was still in the same dream, um, this church group came in and they had just come from services and they all had their Bibles and there were about 16 to 18 of them. And they came in and I don't know if you've ever worked in a restaurant, you'll understand this, and if you haven't, you probably won't. It'll be totally foreign to you. But they wanted to sit all at one big table. And as I said, this is a tiny place, and the tables are no more than 3 feet apart. So everyone is within shouting distance, for sure. And they were insistent. So they didn't even want to wait for us to get them set up in larger groups at smaller tables. They kind of just swarmed in and took over the beginning section of the dining room. So they cut off all of the tables and the bathrooms and the waitress station in the back. They cut off the waitresses from all the patrons sitting towards the back of the restaurant. And they cut those people off from the exit. And they pulled all the tables together and they weren't listening at all. They were being pretty rude, like, "No, you're not going to tell us anything, and that's that. We're sitting together, and that's that." And I tried to politely explain to them, "Well, the other guests, we can't even wait on them, and none of us can get back to the coffee station or to the bathroom. Other guests in the front of the restaurant at the counter could not get to the bathroom, but that these people, we couldn't wait on them as in the other patrons at the back of the restaurant." And they had literally blocked off everything. And I was just politely trying to explain this to them, and they didn't even care. They were like, "Well, figure it out." And I was kind of annoyed that they didn't have any care or concern about anyone else in the place. It was all about them and what they wanted, and they knew we would figure it out and it would be fine. So I started to get upset because, now we've got people we can't even bring their food to, and we can't get by at all. So we can only wait on the front half of the table because they literally made it like a 20 top. And I started to say, "But even if we could get by, this is a fire violation. It's against fire code to block things off like this." And they didn't care about that either, but I kept wanting to say, "What if there is a fire? Are you even aware of what's really going on around you?" I was very, very upset that they wouldn't listen, and they didn't seem to have a care about anyone else but themselves and what they thought. And they were not acting like a group of Christians should act at all. They were being rude and inconsiderate of other people. They were argumentative um, and uncaring. It was very disturbing. And even when I brought up the issue of safety for everyone concerned, they didn't care at all. Um, and they started acting, I would say, in a way that was kind of beastly. They were just not nice at all. Um, anyway, I basically gave them an ultimatum and said, listen, this is a problem. It's against the fire code. I kept insisting about telling them about the fire code. And I said, and if you, we need to pull the tables back to where they were. And if you don't like it, you need to leave. It's unsafe for everyone else that you're not being considerate and compliant with the fire code. And that was the end of the dream. And honestly, I just felt like this is how some Christians act. Some people who go to church, whether they're Christian or not, they're prideful, argumentative. I know better than you. I just came away with that sense that, and they were at every turn, they had an answer for everything, even if it didn't make any sense at all. And it was very, very disturbing how nasty they got, even with legitimate reasons for them to put the tables back to where they were.